Welcome to a new episode of our podcast dedicated to regulatory affairs and life science. In today's episode, we will talk of pharmacovigilance applied to social networks. The pharmacovigilance applied to social networks is the collection and monitoring of any report of adverse reactions to drugs and other safety information that patients, health professionals, and citizens in general can report in social networks. This activity is born out of the need to include also digital platforms among the usually controlled sources and reporting channels used by many to share their daily experience. What is pharmacovigilance and why is it important to apply it to social networks? Pharmacovigilance is a set of activities dedicated to identify, assess, understand and prevent adverse reactions or any other safety issue linked to medicines. Traditionally, these reports come via email, phone or dedicated portals. Today, social networks represent an additional channel to watch. In fact, many people leave comments or publish posts where they report important information on medical products, including any issue they detected following their use. It is therefore important to identify and promptly manage such pharmacovigilance reports in order to collect safety information that would otherwise risk to be lost in the daily flow of online conversation. In the EU, the close monitoring of social networks is a task of the marketing authorization holder of the drug, that is bound in accordance with the good pharmacovigilance practices to regularly check the internet and the digital media, including social platforms, they manage or are responsible for in order to identify potential reports of suspected adverse reactions. A digital media, e.g. a social channel, a website, etc., is considered as sponsored by an MI holder if it is owned, founded and or controlled by them. The monitoring of social channels for the identification of reports of adverse reactions to drugs or other safety information should be performed on a regular basis to allow prompt actions, for instance in case of relevant safety information affecting public health and or reports of serious adverse reactions. As described in the good pharmacovigilance practices, the screening frequency should allow to share potential valid adverse reactions to the competent authorities within the timelines provided for by the regulations, to be calculated based on the date of publication of the information in the internet size or digital media. To this end, it is important to have a standard operating procedure, an SOP, describing in detail the process, the monitoring responsible figures, the flows to be followed in case of identification of pharmacovigilance information, and also how to collect the evidence to demonstrate that the control was carried out. But what is meant by valid reporting? According to the good pharmacovigilance practices, only reports of adverse reactions considered as valid can be shared with the competent authorities. 4 minimum criteria must be met to consider a report as valid: 1 or more identifiable reporters, an identifiable patient, 1 or more suspected substances medicines, 1 or more suspected adverse reactions. To encourage patients and health professionals to report adverse reactions also via the social network, several initiatives were created, including the annual Med Safety Week, during which the Uppsala Monitoring Center cooperates with medicine regulatory authorities, pharmacovigilance national centers, and international organizations all over the world to promote the reporting of side effects. The 2025 campaign will celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Med Safety Week, that will take place from the 3rd to the 9th of November and will focus on how everybody can contribute to make drugs safer. The monitoring of social networks to identify adverse reactions or safety issues concerning medicines has therefore become an integral part of the pharmacovigilance processes that pharmaceutical companies are bound to carry out thoroughly and systematically to further ensure safety of the drugs on the market. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you want to listen to other podcasts, sign up for our channel, follow up on social media, and join us for next episode.